Hello, everybody, and welcome back inside the State Champ Studio, as always, alongside former Michigan State Spartan and head coach at Turn In 2, Mackenzie Long. My name is Kara Lyles. Kenzie, it is May. It is such a big softball month. Honestly, playoffs, the tournament starts at the end of this month. How exciting is that?
Yeah, I'm excited. I'm excited for this season to see how teams progress and just to see them gain confidence. I think that's important going into playoffs.
What is sort of a team's mindset as you enter into May? Looking ahead, this is a pivotal time for these teams.
Yeah, I think what a lot of teams need to do is they need to build off one game after another. They need to kind of start building confidence to know that they can do that. They need to have production 1 through 9 in the lineup, and they got to be able to see that they're able to get that production.
What are some of the challenges that kind of come along with this time of the year? You either have it right now or you're still kind of looking for it.
Yeah, I think there's a lot of games to be played right now, and I think that's the biggest thing is when you're playing game after game after game, you lose focus a lot. And when you lose focus, you lose confidence. So the key is staying focused so they keep that confidence up.
Well, let's talk about some of the games that happened last week. Let's start off with South Lyon versus Mercy, 2 Player of the Year candidates going head-to-head.
Yeah, that was a great game. Mercy won 3-2. Mm-hmm. The big point in that game was they got to Bradshaw early. They scored 3 runs in the first inning. What I loved about that game is Sophia started the game off with a leadoff double, and we talk about extra base hits all the time, and Sophia is that game changer for them. She had 2 doubles in that game, and that's huge. As a leadoff, I was a former leadoff, the key to a leadoff is to instill confidence in the rest of your lineup. And when you're able to lead off with a double, that just shows and passes the bat that everybody can do this. And that's exactly what they did against Bradshaw.
And that was just such a fun game, seeing them kind of go back and forth a little bit. That's what you want to see at this point in the season, right?
Yeah, exactly. I think the biggest thing for Palazzi is she started that game with a 3-0 lead. And so she was able to settle in. She had 0 walks in that game where Bradshaw did have some walks. And so, again, when you're going against a good lineup and 2 really good teams, you have to limit the free bases. And Palazzi won that battle against Bradshaw. She limited the free bases. And, the Mercy had a lot of extra base hits, and that's kind of what the difference maker was.
Another great game that we had last week was Dakota and Lake Orion. Dakota winning that one 7-5. What did you see from them?
Yeah, I like that Dakota was able to put 7 runs up. I think that's huge for them. Hannah Palmer pitched that game instead of Gracie Maloney, and that's awesome. Again, when you're playing back to back to back, you need to have 2 good pitchers. So it was unique seeing Hannah Palmer on the mound instead of Gracie, but I loved that she was able to pull out a win there.
And, we talk about the extra base hits, the importance of those. That's kind of what they did, right?
Yeah, Dakota took the lead in the 6th off a double, RBI double by Julia Sandals. And again, when you're able to have those extra base hits, especially late in the game and RBI extra base hits, that's going to be the difference maker. And Dakota struggled with that last year. So scoring 7 runs against a quality pitcher, that's huge for them and their confidence.
Well, another great game that we had over on the west side of the state, number 3 Hudsonville taking on number 8 Jenison. Another top 10 matchup. What was the story?
Yeah, Hudsonville won that game 4-0. The thing that was difference maker for Hudsonville is they walked 7 times in that game. Megan Beamer, who's on our watch list, she walked 3 times in that game. And when you walk somebody like Beamer, she stole 2 bases. That's kind of an immediate extra base because in the first inning, she got walked, she stole second base, and then scored on the next hit. So again, when we're talking about extra bases, walks turn into those when you walk people that can steal bases.
And at this point in the season, errors or mistakes like that, if you want to call them that, that's the game. That's the change in the game, right?
Yes. And, Allie is a great pitcher for Jenison, but she doesn't get a lot of run support. And so for her to be able to shut down offenses, it starts with extra bases and free bases. And she just gives up a little bit too many free bases right now. I think if she settles that down, they'll be in it. But again, 7 walks against a really good Hudsonville team, that was the difference maker. She only gave up 5 hits, but gave up 13 bases because of the 7 walks.
And we talked about the tournament starting at the end of this month, but that's still a whole month to find it, So I think they're going to find it.
Yeah, I do. I think, Allie Wright is a seasoned pitcher. She's committed to Grand Valley. I think the biggest thing is you want to make sure that when you limit those extra bases, you don't give it to them, one after the other, and try to give it to somebody that, doesn't steal bases,
right,
so to speak.
Right, yeah, that's going to be a little extra tough.
Yeah.
But a team that didn't really have any issues this weekend was Saline. They went 4-0 this weekend.
What I loved about Saline is they threw 3 different pitchers. They threw Carly Dorr, they threw Izzy, and they threw Harper. And when you can throw 3 pitchers in a tournament with 4 games, that's why they're able to go 4-0. They outscored their opponents, and they only gave up 3 runs that whole day. They beat 2 really good teams in Walled Lake Northern and in Woodhaven, and they did it with Carly Dorr on the mound, but she shared the love and was able to have different pitchers throughout the weekend.
Some great games, but also we had a couple milestones happen this week. Lanesburg head coach Cheadle earning his 900th career win. How special is that?
Yeah, that's awesome. Cheadle's a great guy. Like, you can tell he's in it for the kids. He loves the kids. He's just a mainstay for Lanesburg. He's been a mainstay, and he really is a difference maker for them because he allows players like Ashley Bila to be themselves. Like, do what you need to do to help us be successful. He doesn't try to control the kids, and he allows them to play free. And when you can play free, you're going to have 900 wins.
And speaking of Ashley Bila, she found her own milestone as well. She breaks the career run record in the state of Michigan. That is just so cool, right?
Oh my gosh. What I love about Ashley is that was like an important milestone for her to break. Like, she wants so bad to help her team win. And if that's by getting on in different ways and scoring, I mean, she's crossed the plate 280 times throughout her career. And we're only halfway through the season, so who knows how much she's going to break it by. But she just loves to score runs. Like, she just loves it. And I think that's so cool because that's a difference maker for her team. I mean, she's averaging over 2.5 runs a game right now. Like, when you have a leadoff hitter scoring almost 3 runs a game, that's why Cheadle has 900 wins.
Well, we've had a lot of great softball games this week, and we have a lot of great games to come. But let's pivot into our rankings. A team that has passed every test so far this season, still at number 1, is Gaylord.
Yeah, they have passed every test, and I'm excited to see how their season continues to progress, but they're just unreal in the lineup, and I just love that. Last week, I don't even know if Aubrey Jones pitched, and they still won. I mean, they just have the ability to win a lot of ball games.
Do you see any other teams kind of giving them a run for their money at the number 1 spot?
100%. Mercy is right there. I mean, the difference for Mercy is that they're challenging themselves a ton right now. They have a big game this weekend against Saline, and I think, who knows, if they can sweep Saline, then they might make it their way up to number 1.
Well, let's take a look at Vicksburg, who is number 8. This is footage from last year's state final game against number 1, Gaylord.
Yeah.
What do we like from Vicksburg?
Vicksburg is killing it. I mean, they're 18-2 on the season. They have a really, really strong leadoff hitter in Madison Diekman. She's just been phenomenal for them. She just keeps getting on, and they have a lot of young talent. Like, they have Kayla Chisholm that's leading their team in home runs right now. And again, I think, we might see a repeat in the championship of Vicksburg versus Gaylord.
And that's so fun. A little rematch.
Yes.
You've seen each other last year. That's going to be an exciting one. If it ends up that way, we don't know.
Yes, I'm looking forward to see how their season progresses.
As always, though, you can see our full top 10 list at statechampsw.com. Well, we don't have any changes to our Player of the Year list this week, but we still want to talk about 2 of the members. Let's start with Natalie Donaldson.
Oh my gosh, Natalie is a great kid. She's batting .680 on the year, but what I love about Natalie is 1/3 of her ABs is an extra base hit. Like, at least out of 3 at-bats, she always hits at least 1 extra base hit. She's an unconventional slapper, which I love, but she is so good in the box. She's gritty, she's competitive, she desires to win, and I love that about her.
You mentioned a stat to me earlier when we were talking. I just want you to share that with everybody because it's quite incredible.
Yeah, Natalie Donaldson, her average exit velocity is over 70. And the reason why that's so key is because the average Division I exit velocity for a slapper is 63 to 65. So she's monumentally better than most Division I slappers. The key to success at the SCC level, where she's going to the University of Georgia, is extra base hits. There are not a lot of touch and go slappers anymore. There are, but what they want to see is they want to see balls in the gap, and that's what Natalie does, and she does it well with her exit velocity. She's going to find success at Georgia.
Another player we want to talk about this week is Olivia Turner. She passed a milestone this week. How incredible.
I mean, career RBIs. She has 306 career RBIs. To me, that is insane. And she did it the Olivia Turner way. She broke it with a 3-run home run. Again, same thing with her. She has 16 extra base hits. She averages an extra base hit a game. And when you're trying to find success for your team, and Grass Lake is super, a team that they can go far.
Right.
She is a key point for them. but she is just so phenomenal. Like RBI, and you know what I also love about Olivia Turner is her RBIs match her runs scored. So not only does she score runs, but she produces runs.
Talk about a mic drop. Let's break the record with a 3-run homer.
Yes.
I mean, like you said, that's just exactly, that's the way that she had to do it.
Yeah, that is such an Olivia Turner thing, and I'm excited for her and as to see how her season progresses.
Just a reminder, you can vote for your favorite player on our top 10 list at statechampsw.com. Whoever is leading our online vote can never be removed from our list. We've got some great games coming up this week. Let's take a look at one. Number 7 in Woodhaven taking on number 6, Allen Park. What do we think?
That's like the game of the year for both those teams. It's like the rivalry game. It's like the Michigan-Ohio State, Michigan State for them down there. I think that's a huge game for them. I'm excited for it. Woodhaven does have the edge with the fact that they have a very seasoned pitcher on the mound, where Allen Park has a little bit newer name with Mel on the mound. But I do love the big 3 for Allen Park and Avery, Mack, and Kylie. And so we'll see how it plays out. But I do think that Woodhaven has the edge.
What do you think is like a game changer for Allen Park? Those 3?
Yeah, and actually I think the youngest Houle, Mallory Houle, she's batting 4th for them. She is the game changer. But what I love about those 3 is they are so gritty. Like their desire to win and their desire to do whatever it needs to happen to win might be the game changer for them. So it is going to be a close game. I can see it going either way.
Those are the best kind of games to watch when you can tell both sides just have so much to compete for.
Yes.
Those are the most fun. Another good game to watch out for, Dakota taking on number 4 South Lyon on Saturday. What can we expect?
Yeah, that's, again, 2 great pitchers on the mound with Gracie Maloney and Ava Bradshaw. Right away, I think the big key is limiting those free bases because they both are tending to walk a little bit of players right now. This is an important game for Dakota. They have played a lot of really good teams, but they haven't been on top on a lot of the really good teams. So this is important to bring confidence. I think as they're moving forward, we talked about, playoff start this month. I think it's important for Dakota to gain some confidence that they can beat teams that are ranked. And I think they need to do that with Gracie on the mound. If Hannah's been throwing great for them, but in order for them to go far, they're going to need Gracie, and so I think she needs to be on the mound this game in order to provide that confidence.
And I feel like, me personally, that if I was on the team, that's kind of giving me a little bit more confidence. This is kind of what we're getting ourselves into as we get closer to the tournament.
100%. I think you need to know what your best is right now, because then you can know how to make those changes. Yes, I love, making different lineups and throwing different players out there. I think that's a great idea. But I do think in games like this, especially when you have a seasoned pitcher and Ava Bradshaw on the other side, this is going to be senior versus senior. And that's what's exciting, is this is going to be the difference maker on who's going to have the confidence to go far. And I'm excited to see the senior versus senior.
Again, both teams having so much to play for in this game as we look to move forward. Definitely going to be a good one to watch. Another one, number 5, Celine taking on number 2, Mercy, also on Saturday. What do you think from that one?
We talked about Celine last week having to pass a big test, and they did. They went 4-0. Now this is the actual test for them. Are they able to score runs for Carly Dorr? Last year we talked about Mercy was not able to score a bunch of runs, and now they're doing that. They've scored 3+ runs in almost all their games except for 3 of them, and they've been 2-3 in those games. We know Caitlin Palazzi is going to be Caitlin Palazzi. Mercy is going to need to score their runs, but can Celine do that on the other side? Reese has been a huge factor for Celine this year, and so I'm excited to see if they can put up runs against Palazzi. If they can, then I can see them going really far. If not, I think Palazzi's going to be Palazzi, and Mercy's going to run away with it.
Well, there's so many good games coming up this week, and we've talked about the importance of the month of May. But if you had to pinpoint one thing for these teams to be focusing on, as we get closer to the tournament, what would you say is one thing that they should be having on their mind?
Yeah, that's a great question. For me, as they want to progress, they need to know that they can do it, right? We always talk about trust the process. We always talk about confidence, but confidence and trusting the process comes from the previous success, right? And so you need to have previous success to have that confidence to trust the process. And so for me, these big games for them is great because whether they win or they lose, they can rely back onto that once they hit June. And so trusting the process comes from previous success. So in order to have previous success, they got to put their best foot forward.
And we do know one thing for sure: to have success moving forward, those bats have got to stay hot.
Yes, and those infielders got to keep turning too.
Wing Away is presented by Lawrence Technological University. Be curious, make magic. Swing Away is also presented to you by Turnin 2 Softball. Continue to dream big and invest in development. Visit our website at turnin2mi.com. The Michigan High School Athletic Association, promoting the value and values of educational athletics. The Michigan Army National Guard, a proud sponsor of the MHSAA. And the Detroit Athletic Club Foundation's Michigan High School Male and Female Athlete of the Year Award.